Yo, what's up, peeps? Um, Cartoon Brew had an interesting article talking about a pretty monumental thing that happened this weekend in terms of animation. So I thought I'd check it out, read a little bit. All right, let's get into it. The title of the article is Historic Box Office Weekend. Five of the top 10 films are animated features. All right. This weekend, while Hollywood box office pundits occupy themselves over a trivial non-story like the slightly better than expected opening of the live-action horror film Terrifier 3, well, to be honest, the reason why they're reacting like they are is just that it beat Joker, and Joker is kind of like a big thing because the last one made $1 billion, and this one is not even going to get anything close. So it's a little bit of being a little hyperbolic, but you know, they're missing historic box office events staring them right in the face for what is likely the first time ever. Five animated features in the top 10 of the US box office. We can't remember the last time there were even four animated films in the top 10, much less five. Some intrepid box office historian will have to look up the data to see if this has ever happened before. But right now, we'll be comfortable betting that this is a milestone for, first in the US box office history. Yeah, I guess with US box office, I can't imagine this has not happened before. This has probably happened a lot in Japan, though. All right. It's only Saturday, so we don't have final numbers. And this article came out a few days ago. I kind of got around to doing it today. But studios already have pretty good sense of the top 10 order. Here are the five animated features and their likely ranking at the US box office. Wild Robot number 2, Transformers number 5, Piece by Piece number 6, My Hero Academia You're Next number 8, Nightmare Before Christmas number 9. What? Is that a re-release? Cool. Piece by Piece overtook Transformers in one final weekend rankings, and the two switched places with each other. Okay. This weekend's box office was just the latest piece of evidence to support the argument that animation is evolving in the US market. Animated films in the US have long been viewed as just one of two things: a broad four-quadrant product that appeals to every member of the family, and where anything but a huge opening is deemed a failure, or obscure indie foreign production that barely registers a dent in the box office. Well, to be honest, it's kind of what it's been. You either get like one of the Minions movies, or you get something that hardly anybody's ever heard of. Now, in Japan, it's a little different. It's because they're geared, it's like each one is kind of geared to a specific age bracket, but in terms of how they view animation there, it's a little different from here. I think here is mostly viewed as children's things, even though they've had many animated movies that are very dark and very well written and is more adult themed, but those tend to be more of your indie kind of stuff. So okay, now we're starting to find the middle of these two extremes. The three new releases are a documentary, a hand-drawn foreign import from Japan, anime, revival of a decades old. Oh, so it is a release. These are the types of films that a decade or two ago would not be appearing on any kind of top 10 list, but theatrical animation has matured at the marketplace, and the demand for animated films has broadened to the point where niche titles can generate significant revenue even when there are multiple other animated features in the theaters. All right, to be honest though, there's not really a lot of regular movies that are out right now, so I can probably contribute to that like a little bit. Let's dig deeper into the animated features of the top 10, starting with the new releases. First up is Morgan Neville's documentary, Piece by Piece, released in Universal's features a quirky biopic of music. I didn't even know that came out. Music star Pharrell Williams has drawn attention for his technique, which uses CG Legos style to document Williams' rise to the top of the music industry. Produced for about 16 mil, the film launches in 1,865 theaters, is looking to gross around 3.5. That's pretty good. 3.8 estimated for the final. The figure is weaker than anticipated. Focus was projecting around 5 to 7 million for the opening weekend. Well, given how I didn't even know that this was out, I guess it's probably, well, I guess, I don't know. But I look at this from another perspective. Piece by Piece will be the highest grossing animated documentary in U.S. history. I wasn't aware that there was more than one. So by the end of the weekend, animated documentaries have traditionally opened to the 5 to 6 figure range, not millions of dollars. No animated. Well, it is Lego and it is Pharrell. Even though Pharrell is not as culturally significant as he used to be, he's still significant. All right. Not millions of dollars. No anime documentary appears in the top 50 documentaries at the box office. Piece by Piece will easily achieve that and more. This could very well herald the beginning of a more high-profile feature-length animation documentaries. Soft opening, however, does put a dent in Piece by Piece's awards season future. There had been a sense that the film could be a contender for year-end animation honors. I don't know. From what I saw about the trailer, it just kind of looks like a Lego movie, but hey, anything can happen. But simply doesn't have a lot of buzz around it. Piece by Piece launched with a polite yet reserved reviews on Telluride and holds just an 81% critics rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Audience like the film far more, giving it a 92% Rotten Tomatoes score. But they're also not turning up in the expected numbers. This unconventional title may yet exhibit a long legs at the box office, but its awards potential is now in question, especially in a year with so many other stellar animation titles. Tensei Okamuda, My Hero Academia Your Next, distributed by Toho International, is the fourth U.S. theatrical release of the popular franchise that takes place in a world where the majority of people have superpowers, opening at roughly the same as Piece by Piece, 18, just a little bit less. It's currently targeting around 3 mil. Here are the previous opening weekends for the US releases of the franchise: 1.3, 5.8, and 6.2. So actually was going up. The 3 previous films were released by Funimation, but Japanese company Toho has taken over the US distribution of this 4th release as part of its new strategy to expand in North America. Yet another movie that, I guess because I haven't been to the theaters in a while and I get most of my stuff on YouTube, and I don't really see much advertisement on YouTube, so maybe they need to work on that a bit more. So you got the Nightmare Before Christmas, 31-year-old stop motion Disney film, often has been re-released during the Halloween period. Its 30th anniversary re-release last year pulled in 4.2 mil at the opening weekend, on its way to a $9.8 million total. The current re-release is looking around 2.1, update 2.3 from 1,700 theaters. The film has now grossed nearly 90 million lifetime since Tim Burton developed. The project was first released in 1993. I wonder how much of that is from when it was initially released. Then you'd have to kind of count for inflation and whatnot. So it might be more than that. The highest grossing animated title of the weekend is Chris Sanders' The Wild Robot, which is eyeing around 13.4 in its final, and I think it's already been greenlit for a sequel. In its 3rd weekend, that figure holds the key Oscar contender will have grossed 84.1 mil after 3 weekends. The DreamWorks animation feature is showing a great hold, declining just 27% from the previous weekend, and it will even outgross WB's Joker sequel, which is hilarious. Paramount and Josh Cooley's Transformers 1, looking at 4.1 in 3.6 in total. In its 4th weekend, even though the film cracked 50 mil yesterday, expectations were clearly higher for this 75 million production, which, according to its producer, was intended to launch a new animated franchise. A theatrical franchise is now unlikely following the performance of this initial installment. So even though every film is not performing as anticipated strength, the expanse of the animation marketplace is noteworthy development worth celebrating. This weekend represents a major turning point for theatrical animation and signals that the medium's future is brighter than Well, as far as the Transformers 1 is concerned, I think people are kind of getting tired of the backstory of the villain and how everybody is buddy buddy and then somebody turns evil. And just, yeah, I was really not interested in that particular thing. I've heard mixed messages about it, so that it was good. Some say it was bad. It's probably one of those things where I'll probably check it out when it comes out to streaming or whatnot. But part of the reason why I wanted to get into this is interesting in terms of the amount of, I think people have always liked animated and animation, movies, but given the world that we're heading into, thanks to this AI stuff, it'll get to be the point where you should probably get more of this, because people will be able to do feature length movies with less people, because you can use a lot of computer stuff to generate a lot of the things that you would normally need a lot of people. That really sucks for the animators to a point. But I think because this is kind of happening, you should learn how to exist in that world. And if you can tell your own story. So, hey, you do documentaries, you can do all kind of stuff once we get to that point. So just like the article says, I think this is a good thing. The article is on Cartoon Brew, and I would like anybody who checks this out. I am trying something new on this particular channel. I did a lot of music stuff. This was never intended to be a music channel. This was just part of one aspect of the stuff that I'm trying to get into. So it could work, it could not work, but that's what how YouTube works. You just kind of figure out what's works for you and work with it. And if people like it, awesome. So if you kind of rock with this direction that I'm kind of going in, I'm still trying to figure this out, because everything is a work in progress. So thanks for watching. Later.